Good morning, Gearslutz. We're here at the Ginko Festival, and we're here meeting here with a man from This is Rocket Science again for his new modules. And yeah, good morning. Can you tell us what news you have here?
Hello, Gearslutz. Of course I can. I'm Stijn from This is Rocket Science. I'm apparently shedding cables already this early in the morning. After we launched our first module at Superbooth, we went back in the train and started designing our new modules straight away, just inspired and excited to get on with it. So I have the BigFish, which is our biggest new thing. It's a complete synthesizer voice, which can also be used as a separate oscillator or filter section. And we already brought these to Superbooth, but we've been continuing development. Is the Wobbler and the Edgecutter, and they both provide interesting modulations. Edgecutter is an envelope, Wobbler is an LFO with some special extras. It can do weird twangy things and random things. More on that later. But right now I think we're going to focus on the BigFish, because that's what we're most excited about. Here it is. It contains sort of my own collection of guilty pleasures. So it has big saw stacks. Haha.
Maybe explain a little bit about the structure of the
The structure is, it has an oscillator section which is it has 7 different oscillator shapes or types, and they're each using completely different algorithms to generate sound. The current one is more like an organ, a classic organ. Let's see if I can. It has one envelope always dedicated to the volume, and after that the envelope also has an output to be used by other sound sources in your system. After the envelope it goes into the filter, which has its own dedicated envelope for the cutoff and key track and an amount.
There's a wide range of sounds, I noticed.
Yeah, and it's still very rough. We only got this working about a week ago. This is our first ever prototype that's sort of capable of making sounds.
Yeah.
So from here there's maybe 2 or 3 months of non-stop development left to actually get it to where we want it.
Okay.
But it's already interesting enough that we wanted to show it to the people at Ginko Fest. There's also a bunch of hidden stuff that I can definitely not let you hear yet, because it would probably break the microphone.
Okay, but just start with what is the concept? Well, it's guilty pleasures, of course, but that varies from person to person.
Yeah. Well, my own guilty pleasures are the nice the synth stabby sounds.
Yeah, the Detroity techno-ish.
Yeah, those. The same with the really big trance sounds, of course.
So it has waveforms stored under these patches for this shape?
A complete oscillator program. So one of them will be a physical model synthesizer, one of them is the organ, one of them is an FM synthesizer.
Alright. Did you model that for one particular type of FM, like 4 operators, or what is behind that?
Well, there's these 2 knobs here, size and spread, and those will crossfade between a whole bunch of different setups inside. So it's not fixed in one setup. There will be morphing between various things. But the biggest thing will be that if you make the size bigger, the sound will get bigger. So we try to sort of stay in that theme.
All right. Okay. So I understand this is the oscillator shapes.
Yeah.
Then it goes into the filter.
Yeah.
Is there an envelope here? Attacks the state gain.
Yeah,
release?
there's an amplitude envelope.
All right.
And there's an attack decay envelope dedicated to the filter.
Yeah.
And then the filter has 5 types, which is low pass, high pass, band reject, and band pass, the standard ones, and a vocal one. And for the vocal one, we are building a 7 resonator filter setup that really models the entire vocal tract, so you can sort of sing with it.
All right, nice. And all of it, the envelopes are syncable. I mean, I understand. Or how does that work? How does?
There's one gate trigger input, and that triggers both envelopes at the same time.
Okay.
If you don't use the gate input, you can use the oscillator output to use your own VCAs and envelopes externally, and use the external input to use some audio through the filter.
All right. Cool.
Well, let's start with the wobbler.
Yeah. What is it? What is it?
The wobbler is an LFO. Start with this all down. In the basic shape, it's just one LFO going back and forth, with going to the output. And when it reaches the 0 point, it will show one trigger that it's resetting. You can make it faster and slower. You can give it different shapes. But it also has a phasing, which splits it into two outputs. And then all the shapes are again the same. But there's also, if you change the shape to the 1/3 point there.
And is it on 90 degrees or on 80 degrees?
It's adjustable, so you can use the knob to change it to any phasing you want.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's also a modulation input, so you can change the phasing by external modulation.
Right.
But if you put the shape over there, now I needed the cable that dropped, and you feed it a reset pulse. This is just a simple button. I can press it and it gives a pulse.
Fair enough.
Now, if I press this button and you look at the LEDs here, it has a twang motion. Like if you have a stick on the side of the table, if you twang it, it will wobble. One to the right, yeah.
It's a trigger input, reset trigger, right?
Yeah, it's sort of combined envelope with LFO. And it's very nice if you use it phased with the two different outputs. You can use this for really nice drum sounds by having two oscillators pitch against each other. So that's where the name Wobbler comes from. It wobbles nicely.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yay.
Next one.
The next one, the Edgecutter, well, the cutting edge of the envelope, so the name stuck, Edgecutter. It's my personal interpretation of what I think an envelope should be, because there's many envelopes in the market, but none of them really had visuals going on. So this one shows you exactly where in the stage it is. So if I put it very slow, you can actually see it move very slowly. And this I found very helpful if you have a really big system and you want to sort of remember which bit of the system are making which sounds. You can at least see where things are moving along.
Okay.
So these two modules are, well, as you can see, they already have a nice front panel, so we went a bit further with our prototypes. But after Superbooth, we started rethinking some of the design because we needed some more inputs and some more knobs, just because we can, basically.
That's a good philosophy. One question, I see here some options here below.
Yeah.
What is that?
There's one-shot trigger mode, so it always triggers the entire envelope and with just one gate.
All right.
There's gate mode, which keeps it like a gate, so you have to keep it pressed to make it stay at sustain, and then you release it. And there's loop mode, and the loop mode, I hope it works right now. Loops it and then release it. And the other one is short or long, so then now it's very fast, and now it's slow again. And there's curvature, which changes if it is going exponential or linear. Let's add some drums.
how did you come to pick those?
Mostly because when you start development, you have to test if your system works, and these are the sounds that I really know how to make and how they should sound. So when I just had to make the first system test, it's just okay. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic sounds. When those work, I will start on the experimental stuff, because then I have validated the rest of the system and that all the knobs work, and then take it from there.
All right. And last question: are there new models planned for the BigFish, the new Oscillator models?
Yeah, there are several things planned. Some physical model things, some vocal synthesizer stuff. To complement the fact that there's a vocal filter, we also want to have nice vocal sound generators. And I really want to make something sound like a big orchestral choir, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So, it's the experiment is planned, but I'm not promising anything.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for the demo.